Okay, so today I'm jumping on the bandwagon. Something that has become super popular here on YouTube is tier ranking lists, and they look fun. So I'm gonna do one. So I posted on Instagram asking people to send me characters from series that I've read. They could be great characters, they could be terrible characters. I then randomly selected from the first, hour after I made that post, and I now have several. So let's get started. We're going to rank some characters from series that I love. So this did randomize the images that I have, and of course this video is going to start off with Kvothe from The Name of the Wind. So this will be a fun one to kick it off with because this is a series that people either love or hate, and people either love Kvothe or hate him. I think he's interesting. I think he's interesting in the way the story is told, and he does come off quite biased, but I also sort of kind of hate him at times, and I sort of kind of love him at times. So I have very mixed feelings about this character. I think that he is... Why didn't I make a good tier? I have Untouchable, The Best, Great, Fine, Get Out, and Worthless. I didn't make good, and that's where I would put Kvothe. I think between Great and Fine, I would put him at Fine. What a way to start this video. Moving forward, the next character is Peeta, which again, yikes. I don't love him as much as so many people do. When I read this series the first time as a teen, I was Team Gale. Now as an adult, I don't really care about either of the love interests because Katniss doesn't really fit with either of them in my opinion. She's happy single. So Peeta is he's a good guy. He's funny, he makes a lot of jokes, he's lighthearted, he handles every situation he's put in very, very well, and I like him for that, but he's also kind of boring, so Peeta's gonna be fine. Next is Locke, and we don't even need to discuss that, do we? I mean, honestly, do we? Locke and Jean are my favorite friendship ever, and Locke and Jean are two of my favorite characters. Locke is funny, he is incredibly loyal, he's an idiot sometimes, but he gets out of his idiot mistakes, usually by falling into another idiot mistake. The man's untouchable, I won't touch him, you can't because it's my video. I love Locke. Okay, I have two Harry Potter characters. Well, actually I had a lot of Harry Potter characters that were sent to me, but as far as the ones that I actually chose to feature, randomly selected in this video, the one representing book 6 was Snape. And Snape I have a whole video on where I break down and analyze his character. I'll link it right there or in the description if you're new to my channel. I recommend it. I put a lot of work into that video, and I'm going to put Snape in the great category, not because his character is a great person, but because his character work is great. Is that breaking the rules a little bit? I don't think so, because I talked about my personal preferences with Kvothe and Peeta. So here's my preferences. I don't like Snape as a person, but I love him as a character. So that's the decision I made. Next up, representing Harry Potter book 7 is Voldemort, or Tom Riddle. And for him, it's a pretty easy choice, because while he is the Dark Lord and the greatest threat to all wizard kind and the one that we're fighting against the entire time, he also is pretty dumb and very dramatic, and all of his great schemes that he hatches seem to be ridiculous in nature, and he goes through all these steps to accomplish this great scheme, but he could accomplish it so easily in another way. And my sweet Voldy, you're scary because everybody in the book tells me you're scary, but in reality, you're pretty worthless. Okay, next one is Winnie the Pooh, and I just want to say whoever sent me that one, you are untouchable, because Winnie the Pooh is untouchable. If you haven't read the classic Winnie the Pooh books, you should. They're the sweetest things in the world. They're nostalgic even if you didn't grow up reading them or watching the show, which I didn't. Or movies? I don't even know. Next up is Will Herondale from the Clockwork series, and I have never been a Will fan. The romance is insta-love. Will is a jerk, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why Tessa even likes him, and yet she's obsessed with him, even though there's absolutely no substance to this obsession other than he's hot, because he never treats you with anything worth developing real feelings toward. While Will is one of the only bad boy trope characters that I actually do say, okay, yeah, your reasoning for being a jerk is actually valid, but that doesn't change the fact that you have no chemistry with your love interest, and frankly, you can get out. Next up is Glokta, and I'm gonna put him in the best, which maybe will make people hate me because yeah, he probably should be untouchable, but it's a good ranking. He's good, also terrible. I don't want to say too much because I feel like the character work in this series is some of the best stuff to unveil, so I don't want to say too much. All I'll say is that I love Glokta so much, but also I don't think I can put him in the untouchable category in good conscience. Even though Locke is a bad guy too, they're different levels of that. Okay, so there's a lot of characters that people could have sent me within the Lord of the Rings series, and the one that people chose, or the one that got randomly selected for this video, was Sam. Samwise Gamgee. So that was easy. Sam is obviously untouchable. He is the best friend next to Locke and Shaw in literature. His loyalty is untouchable. It's untouchable. The sacrifices that man made, specifically, I mean, all throughout it, but specifically in The Return of the King, you can't touch it. There's nothing like it. Mistborn, the character that got selected for this book was Sazed, which I'm gonna have another unpopular opinion. I'm not Sazed's biggest fan. I liked him a lot in the beginning, but in book 3, he drove me nuts, which is fine because it was an accurate representation of grief, but it was also very frustrating to read. Maybe it was book 2 that I felt that way. It's been a while. Sazed is a sweet, kind-hearted, amazing character who is such a great supporter of everyone around him, as well as has an incredible arc. But also, he did drive me nuts near the end of the series. So I may just put him at great, even though people will argue that maybe he should be put untouchable, especially with how his arc goes, but my video, my rules. Peter Pan, is there anything to discuss here? Peter Pan is my favorite book of all time. Peter is a character that I love so much because he's a little brat, but he's so lovable. He is sweet and innocent, but he's also surprisingly dark. And he's just a hurting kid, man. He's just a hurting kid, and he deserves all the good things in the world. Okay, next is Fanny from Mansfield Park. So Fanny is one of the, it seems like one of the least liked protagonist in a Jane Austen novel. And I love her. She's amazing. She may not be fiery and feisty like the other Jane Austen leads, but she has a quiet strength. And she is so good. She's sweet and kind in the face of abuse. She treats everyone with respect even when they do not deserve it. And despite everything that happens to her, and despite all the pressure from the people around her, she stands her ground and stands up for herself. And frankly, she is an inspiration, and not every amazing protagonist has to be sassy and sword-wielding. Sometimes they are fantastic in their inner strength, and that is more than enough. Okay, so for Well of Ascension, the character that was given to me was TenSoon, which is my favorite character in the trilogy. So I'm gonna put him in the best category. Yeah. I'm gonna put him in the best category, but I love him more than everything. Next up is Grover, representing the Percy Jackson series. And Grover is a character I'm still not 100% sure about. I've only read the first 2 books, and so far in the first 2 books, he is a loyal friend who is sweet and kind and sensitive and nervous, but also who is more of a hindrance than a help half the time. I know that he's well loved among the fandom, but at this point, I'm just like, yeah, Grover could stay or he could leave. I don't care that much yet. And we're ending this on Wheel of Time. We're ending this on Loyal. Now, Loyal, is a character. He's an Ogier, he's a friendly giant, he's sweet, he cares about writing books and learning, and he's a baby at 80 years old, and I love him so much. I wish he had more of an arc, at least at this point in the series. I'm currently reading book 13, and I want more from him. Maybe he will get a greater arc in the last couple of books, but I'm going to put him at great because I love him, but I want more from his character. And hey, maybe after I finish the series, I'll come back and put him someplace else. So there's my tier ranking for some characters in some series that I've read, characters that you guys sent me. I have a couple of big videos that I'm filming today as well, and I just needed something really fast and fun to be able to put out while I'm working on those videos. I really had fun doing this, so if you guys enjoyed it, feel free to leave me some suggestions for other tier ranking videos that I could potentially do in the future. And be sure to chat with me more about this in the comments. I post videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.